I'm CEO of Telensa, which is a Internet of Things smart city company. But I'm not going to start there. I'm actually going to go back a little further than that. Around about the mid-noughties, I founded a company from my kitchen table to solve a particular problem about mobile phone coverage at home. I'm not going to go into the details of that. But building that business over a period of 9 years until exit, we sold that business to Cisco in 2013 for $310 million. So a hell of a journey, and international expansion absolutely key. Our biggest customer actually was SoftBank in Japan, but our most important for value customer was actually AT&T in the US. But the US was of the greatest importance. Why? Because ultimately, where do acquirers come from? Where's the axis here of where international business works? And we never thought ourselves as a UK company. We always thought ourselves as an international business. We may start with a UK market, but actually that's just a springboard into a much bigger play. So moving on from that into Telensa, I actually joined Telensa as the CEO around about 18 months ago, 18 months to 2 years. And at that point we were around about 30 people. We're now 110. Over the last 2 years we've grown 50% and then 90% in revenue over that time, and profitable as well. We've fortunately had Silicon Valley Bank behind us all the way, which is fantastic. I really can't sing their praises enough. It's been brilliant. They bailed us out in my previous company, Ubiquitous, as well, when the banks tried to pull the rug from under our feet. But as a business, and as far as what I have done to drive the adoption across the world, because when I first went into the business, we were very, very UK centric. And when you look at that, you say, right, well, that's a great model, but actually that can apply in many places. It's very cookie cutter. So there's a particular model which I always use. The first phase of that is business development. Sounds obvious, but the first phase is go to your market and go and discover what's there. Ian's been through a whole load of the key points there, which is find out what the market is. Is the regulatory environment right for your market? Have you got to do changes of design to your products to meet that market? Is the customer base, is it ready? Is the business case which you have, which you rely on, does it work for your customer base? Who are your customers? How do you get to them? Trade events, absolutely critical. Standards bodies, join those. The conferences, absolutely critical to find out who they are and then go and start to talk to them. And then at the same time, work out what your channel to market's going to be. Is it going to be through partnerships? Often you need to have a partnerships, or in some places we may use agents. In the US, what we did after having explored the market for a year and a half, found a customer, engaged our first customer and started to do deliveries. We then put in a sales team into the country because we understood the market well enough to know that it was worth investing, and we put 5 people in the US. And that is an investment because it's initially the first year we've got relatively low revenues from that activity, but it's growing. The pipeline is growing, and we get earlier and earlier in the sales cycle. So we get into the point where we're influencing the tenders rather than just responding to tenders. That's absolutely critical. And going for the tenders that you know, going for the business that you know, or you're pretty certain you've got a good chance of winning, and not just a scattergun approach. So a very focused approach. Now we've done the same thing in South America. Go down there and look at the market, explore it, see if the market's there. We've got to a stage now where we're just getting our first customer, and we're going to open up an office down in South America. We've done it this last year in Australia, in New Zealand. Market actually was absolutely right for our product, so we actually ended up sending somebody from the UK to move down there and taking somebody on locally because we need to move fast on that particular market. Another market we're expanding, looking at the moment, is Japan. Japan has a unique regulatory environment, but again, look at that market, and we've actually employed a company which I've used before in my ubiquitous days called Intralink, brilliant company, to go and explore and find out, is there an opportunity there? They'll go and interview customers, partners, for us the local city, find out whether there's a market, and then recommend an approach. Do we partner? Do we employ them to be our sales force? Do we take on somebody? And so each region that we go after has its unique marker, and we target particular markets in particular times. So we look at, probably the most sales opportunity request we get is from India. But when you look at the market for India, it's so scattered, and it's a very difficult market for us to address. There was a drive on always on price down. So actually, it doesn't matter that it might be a massive market. We're not going near it for now. Maybe in the future we will. China, difficult market to break. You can kill yourself on China because there's lots of promises, and it's a tricky one. You definitely need a local partner in China. But I come back to the US because the US really is such an important market. The DIT have been a great help for us actually internationally, which is really good because some of the predecessors to the DIT in various different wording combinations of things have ranged from useful to hopeless. And I'm pleased to say that DIT now actually have been really helpful for us in many markets. We go to conferences with them and on the stands, they do introductions for us. But when it comes to it, whichever market it is, it's all about networking. No surprises there. And even some of the less known thought about ones of this is about the branding and image, and getting your name out there with the analyst community, both the trade analysts, which is the world you may work in, and the financial analysts, so they understand what it is, what impact that you may have on the markets which they are influencing. Then you get your name out there, and then when you go and have a conversation with your customers, they said, "Oh yeah, we know you, we've heard of you, and we know that customer, we've met that customer, we know that they use you and they really like you." At that point, word of mouth spreads, and you don't need to go and convince everybody that you're better than the local company. You can go out there and win. Another thing which we've done actually, which is kind of, I think, not so logical, but manufacturing, we were manufacturing because we do hardware, we're doing it in Malaysia. Actually, last year I moved it back to the UK because actually it's more economical for us to build in the UK than it is in Malaysia, which is great. That's the Sony factory in South Wales. Really good. Anyway, pitfalls. There are pitfalls for sure. One is don't expand too quickly. Don't expand your salespeople too quickly, because otherwise you'll take on 20 people and then at the end of the year you'll fire 19 of them because they were the wrong people. So it's a gradually building that. That's a few, yes, lost a few sleepless nights on that one. But always found this formula works, and as you can see from our success the last couple of years, 50% and 90%, it's certainly going very well.